Welcome to a special episode of Searching for Soccer, where I am going to be looking at the launch of the Panini 2026 World Cup sticker album. Now, this is a bit different from the normal episode where I look at a legendary sticker or card from anywhere throughout history, but I was lucky enough last night to attend the launch party at Wembley Stadium. So I'm doing a kind of impromptu episode where I'm going to tell you how that went, how the launch party went, and also what was involved on the night and what I was doing there. I was actually invited by Kev, who was on the last episode, for a sports trading, because Kev was asked by Panini to set up some displays of his collection, which is of the Panini sticker albums from throughout history, from the first ever album in 1970 all the way through to present day, and the last album in the last World Cup in 2022. Now, Kev actually has probably the best and potentially the only complete collection of these in the UK. We were talking about it. He said he used to know another guy that had a complete collection who then split it up and sold it. And I think that we met a guy in Italy who's got a complete collection, but there's not many out there. And Kev has a lot of kind of mint condition albums and complete sets of the stickers untouched, as well as completed albums and unopened packets, graded, ungraded, and everything in between. It's kind of where Kev started, where he made his bread and butter through the World Cup sticker albums, and that's kind of what he became known for. And he went on from there to kind of doing everything else in cards and stickers that he does today. But he was asked to put on a display at Wembley of every album throughout history, and he was kind enough to invite me along with him. So I went along, and for me it's pretty easy because I'm not far from Wembley Stadium, which is probably the main reason Kev invited me, to be honest, because he knows it's pretty easy for me. So I just hop on the train at High Wycombe, and it's 3 stops to Wembley Stadium. Jumped on the train, lovely sunny day. Had a wander up. I was a bit early, walked around to Wembley Way, walked up the steps to Wembley, and then had a little wander around to see Bobby Moore, the statue of the great England captain who lifted the World Cup for us in '66, which sits kind of atop looking down Wembley Way with the England flag billowing behind him. Got myself a little picture up there. Then I met Kev and helped him with all his stuff up to Wembley.
Here he is. Hello, mate. You doing all right?
Turns out there was another collector there who was over from Belfast, which was GS Collects. He's known on Instagram and TikTok, but he's actually called Gareth. And he got there early because that's where his flight came from, Belfast. And I ended up going for a great drink with him. Gareth's actually a kind of sticker collector, and he posts a lot on social media of his collections, all the stickers and albums he collects, completing these albums. And he's in touch with Panini a lot through doing that, which is why he was in attendance for the launch. So he was excited to be there. It was great to meet him. We went for a drink, talked about how bad Spurs are because he's a Spurs fan, and talked about how much better United have done since we lost to them in the cup final last year. So I think I probably enjoyed the conversation more than he did. So yeah, he's probably listened to this. So it was great to meet you, Gareth, and sorry if I rubbed it in a bit about how Spurs might be going down this season. But then we came back, got in. The event was being held in the Wembley suite. We kind of followed these stickers on the ground, leading all the way to the suite where we walked in. And it's a great little venue, fantastic room. And all the displays were laid out, and they had these kind of big, oversized cutouts of each album from history, which matched perfectly into Kev's displays. And Kev had put each album up. So he started As You Walked In with the Mexico 70 on its own, in a display on its own, alongside 2 graded sticker packs and some graded stickers from the album. And then we moved on to each album throughout history, and he'd done the same. So each album was like, the next one was the 74, 78 and 82 albums with a sticker pack in front of them and the kind of key stickers from each year. So for example, the 1970 had the Pele sticker on display, and I think the Bobby Moore. And then the 74 would have had the Johan Cruyff sticker graded on display with it. And you move on and you start getting the Maradonas in there. And then the more modern albums that are on display, he'd actually put with it the legends that were in attendance that evening. So he had stickers of Gary Cahill, David James, John Barnes, and I don't think Adam Lallana had a World Cup sticker, but he had some Adam Lallana bits there as well. And they were initially milling around, and then they did a great talk with the legends, which was actually, I was unsure what they were going to talk about, whether it was going to be trying to kind of shoehorn in talk about stickers and whether they were actually interested in that or not, and whether it was going to actually work. But it worked really well. And they started off talking about sticker collections and whether they remember stickers and what's it like to be in a sticker album. And David James is actually a sticker collector, and he had with him his 1981 football, I think it's the Panini Football 81 album with him. That was his first album that he collected, and he spoke about that and sticker collecting very fondly and trying to complete the albums, and said he actually had 2 completed albums of that 1981 album. So I don't know whether he completed 2 and then tried to complete another one in 1981, or whether he's completed them since then because it's his favourite album. And he was actually chatting to Kev, interested in the albums Kev had on display, and also started, while he was talking, he was asking if anyone wanted to do any swaps, because he had some Mexico 1986 stickers with him as well, which was quite cool. So yeah, great to hear David James talking about not just football but stickers, more specifically for people like me and Kev, who were there for the stickers rather than anything else. And John Barnes, it's always great to listen to John Barnes. I've heard him on quite a few things, but he's really, really good. And he talked about how his experience at World Cup, and they all, Lallana and Cahill and David James, they all talked about how the honour of playing for England and how much of a highlight of their career it is. And Cahill was involved in a few squads, World Cup squads, so he talks about that and how there was the disappointing World Cups and then the success of 2018 when they got to the semis. And John Barnes spoke about playing with, they asked them who was the best player you've ever played with, and John Barnes talks about Glenn Hoddle and saying he was in that kind of period of the 80s. Glenn Hoddle was kind of before his time, and it was all about hard tackling and physicality and getting stuck into people, and Hoddle was more of a technical player, and he would have fitted in more the kind of modern day game, and he crossed that era of football going into the 90s where it was more about the technical side of things and skill and flair. And he was also asked, who's the best player you've ever played against? And John Barnes, without hesitation, it was Diego Maradona, and was very keen to make the point that Diego Maradona is the greatest player he's ever seen and will never be surpassed. So it's quite interesting that he didn't even consider whether someone like Messi is better than Diego Maradona or not. And he witnessed the skill of Maradona up close firsthand, and was very adamant that Maradona is the greatest of all time and will ever be. So I think that shows when you're talking about an era in the 80s where it is this kind of tough tackling, terrible pitches, heavy balls, and you've got someone like Maradona who can do what he did is so incredible that you can't really compare eras, because in the era of Messi and Ronaldo, they're kind of playing a different game. They're playing on different pitches with different balls, with different rules, and they could play a different way. So it's very hard to say who is better, because I think it's just comparable to the era they're in. And you can't, football's not a game like something like baseball where it's all about stats. It's about how someone makes you feel and how witnessing that and what that means and what that's done for football as a game and what that's done for history and for people and the fans, and hearing John Barnes talk passionately like that really kind of proved that point. And David James also talked about one of the things they asked was, what's your favourite World Cup moment? And David James was the Gordon Banks save against Pele in 1970. He said it's one of the greatest saves ever and potentially the greatest World Cup save ever. And that was before he was born. So when we're sat here talking about old stickers and cards and old moments before we were born in history, to hear someone like David James, who ended up being a professional goalkeeper and playing for England and Liverpool, to see that he was inspired by that moment and seeing the footage of Gordon Banks and his save against Brazil before David James was born, kind of goes to prove why we love these things and why we love the history of football and why we look back and kind of how it affects us and how it shapes the game going forward. Because I'm sure every modern player would have players of old that they looked back on as kids. So each generation shapes the next. It immediately made me think, I literally the other day got a Gordon Banks 1970 Panini World Cup sticker through the post. And it makes that sticker feel that much special when you hear a story from someone like David James about how the save Gordon Banks made affected him. And he was lucky enough to meet and speak to Gordon Banks when he was still alive, and he said he talked to him about that save.
My Panini sticker memories are really when I was part of the sticker collection rather than me collecting it. So they're a bit younger than me. So I'm David is still collecting his book, as you can see there. So I didn't collect, but I remember being one of the first. Well, not one of the first, because it's been around a long time. But my first recollection of seeing myself in a Panini sticker.
I know it's a World Cup book, but 1981 was the first time I got into collecting stickers. I know you all collect stickers in here.
Work the crowd, Jamie, work the crowd.
My advice for you in here, so many stickers left on tables, just nick them.
Go on, let's have a little look at it. Favourite player in there? Go on, let's have a little browse.
I think there's one or two in the room who will understand this. We don't care about players. We care about completing them. It's just numbers.
Is it complete?
There's a few numbers. No, there's a few numbers missing. I think this is my original one. So what I haven't done is filled it in, because this reminds me of when I first started. I have 2 complete books at home.
Wow! Congratulations to that.
So the talk they had, that was great. Loved it. Then there was a quiz which was surprisingly hard. We went in overconfident and had a few downfalls mainly on more of the modern day stuff. We got a lot of the old stuff right. One of them was, what's the name of the mascots for the upcoming World Cup? Because there's 3 mascots. No one on my team had any idea what they are. I've read them this morning, and I still can't remember what they are. But it's an eagle, a moose, and a jaguar for each country, and they've got names which I can't remember. But yeah, that was great fun. They gave out prizes to the winners. There were lots of other kind of creators there, and we were sat on a table with a couple of guys from the PFA, which was quite interesting. And they had some other bits going on, little games you could play. Obviously, the free drink and food was good. Was a good addition, as always, at these things. And then you could walk out into the stadium just outside the suite. And it was very weird being at an empty Wembley stadium, like looking at the stadium when it's empty, but also walking around outside, because I've been to Wembley on many occasions, but I'm always going for something. So it's quite busy, a lot of people there. So it kind of had that eeriness of such a big place being empty. But it's always a fantastic feeling walking out into a big stadium like that. And obviously Wembley means so much to me as an Englishman, to walk out there and kind of soak it in and look at the kind of the grandeur of the stadium and think about what's happened there throughout history. And then we were able to get our hands on a couple of Panini sticker albums before release date and a few packs. And this morning I presented them to my two little boys, who are 5 and 7. My 7-year-old, he collected the last World Cup with me. So he was kind of just old enough to be able to do it with me. And he still remembered it. And my youngest, who's 5, obviously no memory of the last World Cup. And he's recently got really into football. And so they were really buzzing to have these this morning. My wife wasn't that excited about the prospect of trying to do this before school, and obviously it meant they were pretty late this morning. And there's still lots of stickers all over the floor ready for them to finish when they get home after school. But it was great to see my little boy. He got Messi in one of his first packs. Which was quite funny, and they're more into getting the shiny stickers than anything else, which is, I think, throughout history, it's the shiny stickers that every kid remembers getting and chasing, regardless of as an adult and a sticker collector now. The shiny stickers aren't really worth that much. It's the players you're looking for. I guess it probably relates to modern numbered cards being worth things, and inserts like kabooms and stuff like that if you're a modern collector. So yeah, thanks to Kev and thanks to Panini for putting on the event and letting me attend. It was great to be there, and exciting to see a World Cup sticker album. I don't get excited about too many modern releases these days because Topps seems to just put so much stuff out there, it kind of loses its allure. But the kind of every 4-year World Cup Panini sticker album is still a special thing and a special moment, regardless of what year it is. So looking back at the old stickers, the old albums, and then experiencing the latest album with my children is a truly special moment. So thanks, Panini, and I hope you do it for many, many more World Cups to come, and you don't get bought out by a big conglomerate like Topps were. Kev will also be displaying the all the World Cup albums like he did at Wembley at the Brighton Intercity Sports Paradiso at the end of May, 30th of May. I'll be there. As I've said in previous episodes, I'm running the vintage and pre-modern floor. If you want to attend, check the link in the description, and I've got a discount code 25% off for searching for soccer listeners. So it'll be a great event. So Jeff Hurst is coming. There's all sorts of vendors there, from cards and football memorabilia. So it should be a great one at the Amex in Brighton, 30th of May. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, share with someone else you think might enjoy it as well. And I'll be back for a more kind of standard type episode talking about a specific card in the next one.